Hello YouTube! Today on the Naughty Librarian, I am bringing you a read book haul. Lately I have been collecting a few books here and there, and it's getting a little difficult because I usually get all of my books like secondhand at library book sales, and there are none because quarantine, so it's been harder to get books. But I managed to get a whole bunch, and I realized they were all like red-toned books, so I figured, hey, let's color code my book hauls, why not? And also I have Thai tea with boba, and I'm so excited about it. You don't even know, guys. You don't even know. Took a minute for that boba to get up the straw. I got myself a copy of Butterfly Swords by Jeannie, and I had heard about this book for a while, and I hadn't picked it up, and then I was like, you know what, now's the time. And it's really cool. It's a historical romance, but it's also set in the Tang Dynasty in China. So it's a completely different type of historical romance, which I was so into because, like, let's be real, I can only read so many Regency era England stories before they all kind of sound the same. So I wanted something diverse, something different, something new and cool and awesome. So I picked up Butterfly Swords. I'm really excited about it. I think it's gonna be really cool. This is about basically a runaway princess. She doesn't want to get married, so she runs away. And then she asks this warrior to protect her, and, you know, the romance ensues. I haven't really read an historical Chinese romance, so this sounds really cool. Next up, I finally picked up The Spider by Leo Carew. This is the sequel to The Wolf, and I did read The Wolf this year and enjoyed it quite a bit. It's high fantasy, and it's kind of like North versus South. The North are kind of, I don't know how to explain these people. They're kind of like if like cavemen didn't evolve, but like they have languages and culture and everything. They're just basically like Cro-Magnon essentially, versus people in the South, which are basically Homo sapiens. So it's kind of like that. And there's war and political intrigue and plotting and spies, and it's just like a cool high fantasy story. And this is continuing on. And there were some loose threads at the end of The Wolf that I really want to have closure on because, like, ooh, some shit was about to go down. And this one, The Spider, it's definitely gonna have a lot of like plotting and intrigue and betrayals, and I'm like so into it. And I'm really excited. I finally got book 2 so I can read it. Another fantasy I picked up is Kings of Wyld by Nicholas Eames, and I bought it on the recommendation of Leanna from Leanna's Library. I'm not sure if she's read it yet, but I noticed she wanted to, so I picked it up as well. Basically, it's about a this crew of mercenaries, and they were like the shit for a while, and since then they've all like disbanded. And then, wouldn't you know, one of the crew member comes back to like the leader of the crew and is like, I need your help. It's one of those help me Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope things. And the leader of the mercenaries' name is Clay. He's just like, well, it's time to get the band back together again, and they're gonna do some shit. And I don't really know what shit they do, but it's gonna involve swords and battles, and it just sounds really cool. It kind of has like this rock and roll fantasy vibe. I don't know, I'm vibing with it. I'm like into it right now. It seems really good, so I'm excited I picked it up. I also picked up Felix Ever After by Kacen, Callender, and I have been really intrigued by this book for so long, and I had to have it when it finally came out. This is about a trans male teen and falling in love and overcoming adversity and just navigating a new world, because this is a trans male, so it's a brand new world because they're living it in a different way. They're living it more truthfully to who they really are, but that's not saying there isn't a past that they still have to deal with as well. And I haven't really read a book that had a trans main character before, and I wanted to diversify my reading as well. And I think these stories are important to hear and exist, so I definitely wanted to support this book, and I'm hoping I really enjoy it. It is YA, but I don't mind it in this instance. I think it's gonna be probably really insightful, and I'm like super vibing with it. I'm really excited for this one. I'm really glad I got it. I also picked up Aurora Burning by Amie, Kaufman, and Kristoff. This is the sequel to Aurora Rising, and I had like mixed feelings about Aurora Rising, honestly. Like, I liked it. I didn't think it was bad, but it's far from their best work, if you know what I mean. It's just like, oh, like I've seen you guys write better stuff. And like the issues I had with the book weren't enough to bother me. Like I noticed they were there and they were issues I had because it wasn't great, but it didn't bother me. So I was like, okay, you know what? Maybe it was a rocky start. Who knows? It could have been a rocky start to a series. So I got book 2 and I'm like, you know what, maybe they're gonna course correct and book 2 is just gonna like save the series. Either that or it's gonna be more of the same and I'm gonna be like, This is a sci-fi adventure story. It has a crew of misfits trying to save the galaxy. Book 1 ended in a way that like I actually did like the ending of. I'll say that. There's a lot of problems with like story structure and character development that we don't need to get into, but the ending was dope. So I am curious to see where they're gonna go from there. There's a really insidious villain in this that I don't want to give away what the villain is because if you haven't read book 1, it'll be a spoiler. So I'm interested. I'm interested to see where this goes. I'm gonna give this series like another shot because book 1 was like good but not great. It was like okay, and then I'm hoping this course corrects. I have like faith. So hopefully this is gonna be really cool. I also picked up The Shadows Between Us by Tricia Levenseller. I got this off the recommendation of Madison from Princess of Paperback because I know that she loves Tricia Levenseller and so far I don't. I've only read one other book by Tricia Levenseller, but I really disliked it. Not that it had like content problems, I just thought it was just bad book. And so I hadn't really picked anything else up by Tricia Levenseller. But this is a completely different story. It has nothing to do with the other one I read. So I'm thinking, you know, writers do get better as they go. So maybe this one will be pretty good. It definitely has a really interesting premise. I'm just going to read you this little bit of the blurb because it's excellent. They've never found the body of the first and only boy who broke my heart. And they never will. Alessandra is tired of being overlooked, but she has a plan to gain power. 1. Woo the Shadow King. 2. Marry him. 3. Kill him and take his kingdom for herself. I'm like, she's a girl with a mission apparently. But it seems really kind of good and interesting and I'm fascinated with this story right now. I had no idea what it was about really. And then I took like the recommendation and I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna roll the dice and see how this goes. It might be really cool. So I got this one. I'm excited to try it out and see if like Tricia Levenseller is gonna like redeem herself to me, essentially. Last read book in this haul is Final Girls by Riley Sager. And ooh, this looks so good and spooky! This is about final girls, essentially. You know, like in horror movies or massacres you hear of, there's only the one girl who survived it and all of her friends are dead. So this is following like a group of them. I guess they kind of form a club of the final girls. And eventually spooky things start happening and I think the killer is still after some of these girls because they start getting killed off again. So, ooh, it's kind of like murder mystery, Final Destination maybe, I don't know, but it looks so good and like tense and like just dripping in dread and like that sounds bad but it's good when you're reading. And I haven't read anything by Riley Sager before and I've heard good things and I definitely just wanted to try one out. Oh, I'm so excited for this. I just want it in my soul. I just want something spooky and murdery, you know, like girls do. Okay, so that was kind of a baby book haul, but they're all red, so I felt kind of fun like color coding my book haul. Let me know in the comments down below, have you read any of these books? If so, which ones are your favorites, your least favorites? Let me know if there's one of these books I definitely need to be reading right now. What should I bump to the top of my TBR list? Let me know in the comments down below. If you like this video, make sure you give it a like. And if you want to see more videos, make sure you subscribe. And I'll see you guys soon. Bye!